I'm David Long. I teach at the Honors College here at OU, and I founded OU's expository writing program. My topic today is writing the introduction for an academic essay. In the first part of this video, I'll talk about the fundamentals of an academic introduction. In the second part, I'll walk us through a sample undergraduate introduction, and in the third part, I'll address some common misconceptions about this crucial part of your essay. Your introduction is the first and best place to win your reader's confidence, whether your reader is your professor, your TA, or somebody else who expects you to demonstrate that you have a case to make. It's here, in the introduction, that you launch your campaign to prove your point, whatever that point may be. And it's here that you convince your reader that it's a worthwhile campaign. Your credibility is at stake from the beginning of your essay, where you show your reader what you're all about. A successful introduction establishes your credentials in three important ways. First, it shows that you've done your homework on this topic and you know what you're talking about. You're conversant in the matter at hand, and you know how to familiarize your reader with the key facts of your topic in a clear, concise way. Instead of beating around the bush with vague generalities, you get right to the specifics of the case and invite your reader into your topic. Second, for a successful introduction, it shows you're writing about something that matters in a thoughtful, probing way. You're not just providing a lot of information with no idea of what to make of it. You've focused your attention on some issue or aspect of your material that you know will matter to your reader, who, after all, wants to learn something from your essay. Your reader should be able to see that you have a definite agenda for this essay, that you want to make a concerted effort to get to the bottom of some debatable issue or problem of interpretation. And third, for a successful introduction, it shows that you have, in fact, been able to resolve this issue or problem by reaching a conclusion of your own. After much sifting of evidence and a lengthy thought process, you've come to a realization, the upshot of everything you've considered and reconsidered about your topic. This realization is your thesis, a view of the matter that would not have been possible without a sustained and coordinated evaluation of the evidence at hand, i.e., your historical data. In other words, you offer in your introduction a more or less mature, more or less original perspective on your topic. Nothing earns you credibility like a challenging thesis. In sum, your introduction should be well-informed, well-focused, and well-concluded. These criteria make the introduction demanding to write, but also rewarding both for you and for your reader. How do you go about producing one? Well, if you read your sources thoughtfully, locate a major issue in the reading that intrigues you, and decide what you want to make of that issue, you're well on your way to producing a strong introduction. It begins with mastering the material that you're writing about, so that you have at your disposal the evidence you need to support your argument. If you don't immerse yourself in the themes and details of your topic and raise questions based on those themes and details, probing their significance as you go, engaging in thoughtful analysis, you'll have a much harder time coming up with something to argue in your essay. There are no shortcuts in generating a worthwhile argument. Only by repeatedly exposing yourself to what you're writing about do you qualify yourself to interpret what it means. Finding your thesis, your principal act of interpretation in the essay, is really a matter of connecting up the dots of evidence conceptually and seeing the big picture, or some part of the big picture. You come to your thesis when you can give an interpretation of the available evidence that makes sense of it in a revealing way. That's the first law of academic argument. You come to your thesis when you can give an interpretation of the available evidence in a revealing way. But how do you arrive at your thesis in the writing of your introduction? What's the best strategy for constructing an introduction that features a thesis, or the promise of a thesis? As I've suggested, your introduction should be a command performance in the sense that you want to command your reader's attention, pique your reader's interest from the beginning. But your big idea, your thesis, need not come first, and in fact it seldom does. Generally, it's more effective to set up your thesis by creating a context out of which your thesis arises, and within which it resonates. So even though you should pretty much know what you want to argue when you start writing your introduction, you arrive at your thesis in due time, after due preparation for your thesis in the earlier parts of your introduction. First, you have to orient your reader to your topic, establish some context, and identify what you're calling into question. Then you pitch your thesis. These are the moves that define a good academic introduction, because a good academic introduction almost always has moves. It shifts gears as it unfolds. It develops as it defines the project of the essay. In short, your introduction is a highly concentrated preview of what is to follow.